Hello, one and all. Welcome back to MIRRORMOURN. I am your Game Master, Esper, and we are going to be continuing our tale that we've been weaving for quite a long time in this peculiar and strange and curious land. Why don't you all introduce your characters briefly, and then we'll get back to it.
Hello everyone, I'm Warsor and I play Walykos, the level 9 half-elf ranger.
You are muted, Vince.
Oh, sorry. Didn't realize I forgot to mute myself. I am Vince. I am playing Vapor, the wild magic sorcerer.
I'm Nick. I am playing Nokki, the level 9 barbarian / fighter.
And I'm Adam, and I'm playing Aygir, the level 9 Artificer.
So, we were just chatting quickly here, Nick. You are at your core a beast barbarian, but you have been multiclassing into fighter for a bit now, and you have actually now reached 3rd level fighters. You're 6 barbarian, 3 fighter, and
Yes.
you have chosen a certain fighter archetype, you were saying.
I am a battle master fighter, and so I get superiority dice, and for my 3 maneuvers at level 3 of fighter, I got grappling strike, menacing attack, and precision attack. I'm sure that I will use them all perfectly properly in every single situation. I'll never mess up, and I'll be sure to make sure I use them correctly.
Yeah. You'll use them all at the right time, and they'll all function correctly, and you'll roll high on the superiority dice.
Exactly. Yeah, everything will go exactly how I plan. I'm a
Everything
battle
always
master
goes
after all.
according to plan, especially when you're a DM. So you mentioned something which I quite appreciate. You said that you, out of character, thought some other subclasses were a little more appealing or stronger, but they didn't fit your character with who we know, at least so far, who we know Nokki is. So you picked Maddlebaster. You picked the Master of the Battles because that is a better choice role-playing wise for your character. So
Yeah, no.
tip of the hat for that one, man.
Yeah, no, I think Nokki, I guess to give a little bit of clarity into my mindset, I actually really like the subclass like Echo Knight, and I know Walykos and I were talking about Rune Knight as well, and also I like Eldritch Knight. I like magic, so I like stuff like that personally as a player. But Nokki, at least as far as this campaign is concerned, not really very magical. Like, he doesn't really do magical stuff. Echo Knight, I think you really kind of have to build your backstory a bit sometimes around that because it's very personal, right? But Battlemaster, I think, fits him very well because he's been battling things, right? He's been in combat. He's been doing a lot of things with the party as well. So he's been learning.
He's a bestial brute.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he had that big
really
battle at the bridge and stuff with all those ships. So he was like learning probably all throughout this situation. So I think Battlemaster just really fits. It's almost like perfect, I think, for this part of the campaign.
Excellent choice, man. Way to go with that. So we are at a very far along point in this campaign, and you all have been delving once again into the various layers of substructures beneath the city of Barnacle, beneath the old ruined section that nowadays is called the Crumble. And I've got the image up for those that are watching us live, and you can kind of see the Crumble back there on the left-hand side, like in shadow. It is a part of the city that just still to this day has not been repaired from the old siege when the elves took what then was known as Eoberg City, and it probably is going to get rebuilt and repaired, and there is plans for that. But there's a giant war on our hands at the moment, and the giants are attempting to retake this land that was their ancestral land. You all, along with the forces of Barnacle and the knights, staved off a first wave full-on invasion of the giants. So they're kind of gummed up out there at Holmes Gate. I'm going to switch over to the region map here. Let's do that. So here we are out there at Holmes Gate, the one entrance where the fiery channel can come into the blessed waters from the sea of lava into the actual water. So the giants they have devastating forces and a pretty advanced technology for their fire galleon ships, as well as who knows what else is in those the holds of those ships. But they're sort of gummed up out there at the moment as you collapsed the Holmes Gate and destroyed one of the ships that was starting to come through the gullet. And apparently more of their fleet will be arriving, but more of your allies will be arriving. It won't be long before ships from Terra Morgana, the actual mainland of the elves, will be arriving, and as well soldiers from the city to the north in the mushroom forest known as Plethoris. They are on the move, and they will be arriving Barnacle soon as well to provide reinforcement. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, there are a few decisions that need to be made. Not only with your party, but with these strange, rusted, decrepit constructs, intelligent constructs that are down, trapped in the lowest reaches beneath the crumble, in the old magma forge and the mines and processing stations that are way down there. And particularly Walykos, but your whole party. Would you say are attempting to come to an arrangement?
Yeah, I think that we basically told the Dross creatures that if they wanted to survive, they would have to agree to our terms, and we would allow them to leave this place to come to the upper levels of the crumble, and we would set them aside in the cavern or possibly the laboratory that we already have excavated, and they would swear to never raise arms against the elves who lived in the city, and they would live there peacefully. We'd repair them to a state that they could survive, but they would not help the giants either. You know, basically the main conditions: no hurting the elves, no helping the giants, and tell us everything that you know. If they agree to these conditions, we'll use the elevator to get them out, because they've been trapped down here without a pass, a key, for some time.
So, the conditions are to not act against the elves in any direct or indirect hostile fashion.
Yep.
And to provide you with helpful information that you could use in your fight against the giants.
Correct. I mean, at first, my information curiosity was to down here, but if they have more information that they might be able to give us, I feel like Walykos, and that we're not going to be coming back to Barnacle in some time, we might want to get whatever they have. And we're going to help them.
You're breaking up, Warsor.
Apologies. I was saying we're going to help them considerably. If we get them to the top level, they'll have the freedom to kind of do what they want.
They listen to your words, and they are going to speak amongst themselves privately. Before we do that, though, I would offer you a persuasion check.
Yep.
Because you might have some influence over their decision beyond their own inclinations.
So the problem is until, I can't really. Persuasion is not something that Walykos at this time is good at. I am good at it, but Walykos does not reflect that on his sheet. So
Well, it is only an offer. You don't have to make the roll if you think that it would
may,
be out of character or detrimental or something.
If I may, I know that Nokki was also kind of helping out. Could Walykos maybe get advantage on the roll?
You can attempt to aid him, and that could go one way or the other.
I saw what Nokki was like last session. I don't know if I want his aid.
No, you don't want my aid. You do not want Nokki's aid in this.
No, I think I'll be okay.
It is good
I'm
deal.
gonna take
You should listen to him. Otherwise, I will crush you.
crush you.
No, Nokki.
Basically.
All right.
All right, I'll make the roll because, I mean, honestly,
Did you get the inspiration?
I did, and I do have it, and I know that I can use it. I think, can I get a guidance? Can anyone guidance me? Is that possible? Or do you
Nokki
think
will
that's-
like kind of like.
I sure know somebody that knows guidance. Yeah, I can cast that.
Okay. I'm gonna attempt it. We'll see how it goes.
Nokki will, like,
Aygir
I guess-
motions while he goes over and says, but wait a moment. Let him try this. And pulls out a little one of those tin punch hammers and just like taps him on the shoulder with it lightly. Oh, I don't have to use that anymore. I'm just playing with you.
I don't understand how this helps, but alright, if you say it helps, I'm sure. Hey, wait a second. Before you go discuss things, I think you should really consider the following points of a 17 persuasion.
Consider
I
this
rolled a-
dice in your face.
I rolled a 4 on the guidance, so that was nice.
Nice. Very nice.
That is not using my inspiration, Esper. I just rolled a 14 plus 4 minus 1. So, 17 total.
17.
Yep.
We
good.
are taken aback by your apparent generosity. Their lens-like eyes flex one way and the other shift in the eye sockets from one to the other.
We are generous, yes, but we also are seeking mutually benefit. This is not just if someone comes to you and offers you something and only you benefit, of course you mistrust them. They must have ulterior motives. But when both of us benefit, you can see what we get out of this. I think that you gain. What do you have to lose? Yeah.
When he says, "What do you have to lose?" I'll kind of like look at them, and then look back at Walykos, and kind of like look at us, like, yeah, there's a lot to lose, like kind of like indicating,
No.
like.
No, there's not. They will die down here if we do not intervene. Look
No,
at them.
that's what,
They are
that's what
already.
No, that's kind of what Walykos.
Yeah, that's what he was
implied,
saying.
like-
He's
or,
saying, like,
I'm
well,
sorry,
actually, they have
what
everything to
Nokki's
lose.
implied. Yeah, it's like if they don't accept,
that-
like they'll just die.
Well, that's what Walykos is saying. He's saying they don't have anything to lose because otherwise they will die. By accepting our offer, they will live, or at least have a chance to live. And while there's hope of life, they can possibly find other things that they can do.
We
to
were
improve their
built
situation.
to last a great long time, but we cannot last infinitely. We are affected by the wares and ravages of time and the
environment.
moisture of this environment here beneath the waves in this these damp tunnels. But there is a price to what you ask. The betrayal of our masters, to whom we owe our very existence.
I think you should consider this point. Your masters had 100 years or more to come here to rescue you. They've been back in the city. Baal Vondor and his agents have been in the city, and where have they been? None of them came here. They've been in this same complex above here, and not one of them attempted to reach here because they saw no value in a bunch of construct servitors.
Yes, if
That's
I may.
all that they. That's all that you are to them. You,
If I-
you know, you, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you. My fault.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, I was saying, yes, if I may, it doesn't seem like anyone else is coming for you. I don't want to kill you, but I will.
Oh, Nokki.
You have us at a great disadvantage, half-giant.
I'll kind of like flex my muscles a bit, and like I know like this isn't me actually like having the claws come out, but like kind of roleplay, maybe like have a low claws be like a. I would beg to differ. We've already defeated some of you coming down here.
No, Nokki, I appreciate the help, but quiet for a minute. No offense.
You would fight against the giants, whose very blood is in you.
I'll kind of like pound my chest like, yes, what the giants are doing is evil. I don't like what they do. The strong should not prey on the weak.
Let me just talk to them for a second. Okay. Look. Yes, they created you. But our parents, our creators, are not our owners. You now have had 100 years to make your own choices, and you chose to try to continue their work, to continue serving them. I'm simply saying that they have no such obligation to you. If you wish to be their slaves, to serve them eternally, that is a choice you can make if you have that luxury of survival. However, I am offering you an opportunity here. An opportunity to survive and make a new choice.
They
To
would
not
leave.
serve the giants.
They would leave you here as scrap metal. We are giving you an offer of freedom.
Nokki, please. I appreciate the confidence, but I'm just trying to finish my thought here.
Sorry, I just trying to help.
Yes. Look. Serve yourselves.
Your
or
words
you have no one else
are
that you can serve.
generous, though we suspect elven deception. We must
Of
consult.
course you do.
We must consult amongst one another. We will return momentarily.
All right, we'll be here.
Aygir kind of muses to Walykos. You would think for having been abandoned once, they wouldn't want to have it done again.
Have you ever seen a child who was abandoned by parents, and then that parent comes back into their life later? Sometimes they still seek the approval of that parent.
Among my people, the only children I've known who lost parents, it's been when they've been killed. So, no, I haven't.
So you lack cultural understanding here, I understand.
I
Still.
like that about a great many things in this town.
I actually think the conversation went quite well.
Yes. We'll see how
It didn't
the
come to
others feel,
blows,
though.
but then again, they're in such a decrepit state that
They might be going
it
to
would
get
be a
their
hopeless battle for
reinforcements.
them.
Perhaps we could give them a gesture of kindness. Do we have anything that we could, some scrap metal where they could repair them or
The
some
kind-
oil?
The kindness is what Aygir was going to do. He's going to repair them. We already offered that.
Yeah, we made the offer.
Let me check something real fast. Do I have any? I don't have anything. I was gonna go over and give them like some oil, but I don't have any oil. on me.
Well, surely
like-
in your arcane sanctum, you would have some materials on
Yeah, I was
hand.
like gonna walk
Repairs,
over and
though,
just
would
like
be
kind of
a-
like give them like some
a
oil,
long
like,
process.
Yeah, maybe this would help.
It's not something
of
that you're
those
just going to
little
do
bulbous
over a
table
one
bottles.
Yeah, the
rest.
thing where you like you know like on the cartoons where they
squeak.
like squeak
Yeah.
squeak. I was gonna do that, but I don't have any.
Oh, or even like a little table bottle of olive oil.
Do you all just await their return?
I don't see any other choice.
Okay.
I mean,
So they, go and they convene, and it seems that they're discussing and debating amongst themselves. They have their own little council for a time. They return, and they're not a semi-shuffling gait that they have, certainly not fast movements. We are in a position which is very desperate, and you offer now to us a promise of escape that we have longed for across spans of many, many years. We cannot deny our desire for this, and we will accept with wariness your offer.
I will show you that
We will know
not
more
all-
once we see what is above.
I will say just this. I will show you that not all elves are to be distrusted. You can distrust me if you like, but the outcome will not change. I will treat you with honor if you treat us the same. So, let us, Aygir, can you do anything? Are there any of you who are too badly, in disrepair that need emergency, repairs to move?
There is one of us who would require assistance or being carried.
Will you allow Aygir?
There is
to-
one who is missing a leg.
Mhm. Will you allow Aygir to take a look at them and see if he can do anything to repair them? We
It
will
is
stand back.
It is but one.
Yeah.
That one there. And they motion over to a, not one of the Dross guards who was immediately up close speaking with you, but sort of removed in an adjacent chamber. And, just has one leg and just remains seated.
Aygir, do your stuff. This is you.
Aygir walks over and looks around and maybe for some reason takes out a set of forceps or calipers or both and pokes and prods for a while, holds up a finger silently, turns around and walks away for an uncomfortable amount of time, and you hear some banging noises and some sawing
Are you getting the
sounds.
leg off one of the others that we fought?
Oh, I was gonna say he comes back with a little broken section of minecart track or some other piece of scrap metal from somewhere, and says, this is not going to be a permanent fix, It's going to need some more attention later. I need another hinge. I only carry the one spare.
I say in Elven
anticipate
to
this.
you. I say in Elven to you. Why didn't you just take the leg off one of the ones we fought earlier?
Well, those were damaged. We fought them.
All of their legs were damaged. Every single one.
When you have an eye
So-
for these things, as I do, yes.
Oh, that's fair. You do your thing. I'm not gonna. You don't tell me how to, to lead. I'll not tell you how to artifice. Yeah.
Have you made a crutch of some sort, Aygir?
Yeah, he's made essentially the parts to make a peg leg for one, with maybe a single hinge to have it swing a little bit, but not really a full knee.
Indeed, he is missing the entire leg. But
Yeah, so
perhaps
it's-
you've made a something that will serve as a crutch, and he can hobble along, and one of the fellows, one of his, almost said colleagues, one of his allies will also provide some shoulder support. And
In fact, actually, yeah, maybe it is a scrap metal strut, and then one of the feet of one of the ones we fought earlier that's just welded onto the end somehow. How he welded down here.
do
It's
you
for
have
full
fire
life.
magic?
He has lightning magic.
Do you want to try to fire up the magma forge?
No.
No?
When I say
Okay.
welded, I just mean like
You have affixed
know,
a
really.
makeshift
yeah.
crutch-ish implement with
It would take him
a
hours and hours to make
foot
anything
of one of the
reasonable.
Dross cards that you defeated at the bottom of it. And when they see that, they don't really gasp because they're not really breathing creatures, but they certainly have a twitch back, and their eye lenses flick down and then back up to you.
But what?
What?
They weren't using it.
What is the meaning of this?
It will help you walk. It is not as good as a real leg. If I had, hours in the workshop, I could make you one. But this is the best anyone's going to do for now. Not to brag too much.
Perhaps we should explain that before we use any piece from one of our fellows, there is a solemn ceremony that we perform.
Is it a
We are
solemn
unaware
ceremony?
of that.
It is not something that we would do in such a casual manner.
So you would rather he be carried? Or it, she, they, whom, that?
We do
Let's
not stand
respect-
on such formalities of language as you seem to be more concerned.
Look,
Well, I know he's
Concern of
not
ours
standing
is
at
that
both right
we
now.
will not use the appendage of one of our fellows in such a casual and disrespectful manner.
Out
A
of
few of the
game,
others say
I-
we would rather carry him than that. It is disgraceful.
Okay. Then let's carry him. We were offering to help. That's fine. We didn't understand their ways. Although, I'll be honest, after 100 years, for them to cling to such particular beliefs, I'm impressed that it developed that way.
Do you voice that out loud to them?
No, that was
No.
an out-of-game thought.
Okay,
Nope.
so you know to yourself for the strange creatures here, and they also have a. You can tell they don't fully trust you, and they see you all as very much almost an alien kind of life form. There's certainly some major disconnect or disunity that's happening here. But
Let's
as
go.
they
So with
spoke,
that-
they are going to take your offer, and they're going to be like wary every step of the way.
Well, they'll have to unlearn a lot of their misconceptions.
As part of that, Aygir will unjam the foot from off of the piece of scrap metal and dust it off very carefully, and with both hands gingerly place it on the ground, and then let the scrap metal strut clang to the ground for an awkward amount of time and sound, and remark to Vapor that, cultural differences, I guess, could be my middle name. That's something you have around here, right? Middle names?
Some do, some don't.
Middle
It all
names.
depends again
That's
on
a
their
blasphemy.
culture.
No,
Again, it comes down to
Aygir,
culture.
foe of Paz.
There we go.
All right, so
yeah.
it sounds like you go about a slow
Yes.
process of them shuffling and hobbling up
Down the card.
out of the tunnels back into the area X, as it was called, and you all probably go around those pulse columns.
We do.
Yep.
Yep.
And then it's the various turns going up and down that that lift magical device, and you eventually get them all up into the ruins, like the ruins of what we've been calling the lava dungeon, and then down this long corridor, and at last to your arcane sanctum. And by the time you get them there, they are they need to sit, they need to lie down, they need to rest. Even that was a bit of a grueling trek for them.
Yeah, if it matters, so I probably should mention.
And
this
they've
before,
all
like, if-
come, even the few that were like
Yeah.
out doing the like scouting round.
Yeah. While we were getting them back up and everything, Nokki would have helped them as much as they would have allowed. Obviously, like maybe they wouldn't have allowed, but if they let Nokki help, he would have like kind of, especially the one without the leg, he would have been helping like bring them up and stuff. I know that they'd still be tired, but just as a gesture of kindness to like kind of help them out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, yeah. You can quite easily lend aid.
Yep.
That you can tell, since you're in physical contact with them, that these things are not just solid metal. It's really just a metal plating.
Yep.
And they have something on the inside that maybe is fibrous, or maybe even organic. You're not quite sure what to make of them. They obviously are intelligent, but you don't know if they are like actual living people. They don't. They kind of strike you kind of in between, and they certainly will make usage of your musculature and your aid.
Can
You all
we,
get reconvened to the arcane sanctum. They don't seem tired in the sense of like huffing. They don't really breathe or anything, but the strain on their limbs and joints is enough to basically put them into a state where they need to take time to rest. And even they're like getting bits put better back into sockets and doing some, minor repairs. that in and of itself was sort of a grueling trek for them. Now, something that we can sort of gloss over this, but they do want to bring the bodies, like the corpses of those that you had slain, and they don't say much about it. Like they're just gonna wrap them over in whatever materials on hand and carry. They don't drag.
Esper.
They will carry them with some amount of reverence, but they don't
Esper.
say much to you all about this.
Okay, my question was going to be, do they have any like things they say to us about why we killed them, or like that we killed them, accusatory, anything like that? Because
I was
have
thinking
an
back
answer
to the
that.
prior session, and I feel like
Yeah.
that was the begin. That's how things opened up, I think, with your exchange. And I could just be filling in blanks in my own memory, but the way I imagined it was you all were like, "We've defeated the ones of you that attacked us, and we will not hesitate to do the same to you." And they said, "Well, nope, we're not going to fight you.
Yeah,
We're
have that
in no condition to
understanding
fight you."
Yeah,
Of like, we're not here to exterminate you. You just attacked us and we fought back.
that's how I would present it if they had any queries or accusatory. Why did you
They
kill
really
these?
keep pretty
Yeah.
to themselves when it comes to their fallen
Yep.
allies, and
That's fine.
particularly Aygir, who has an eye for these sorts of things. You're pretty certain that they will scrap each other, but
Yeah.
they don't just do it
Right.
unceremoniously.
Well, and the other thing I guess I've been watching out for is, do they, with the bodies, does it seem like they are dead? Do they have the idea of being dead, or is it that they can actually bring them back and fix them? They're just broken.
From what you are observing, they are carrying them as someone would reverently carry a dead ally or dead
Okay, so
kindred.
they want them buried or something. They think they're gone.
Well, we don't need
It's not
to
that they
get
wanna
into
fix
the
them. Yeah.
the details. I wanted to address that just in case they,
I mean,
had a
you can
bad
certainly
taste in this.
ask them. They're just keeping private. They don't volunteer information about how that all works.
I think we should just keep it moving to the next, scene where you said we were up in the lab with them.
Yep. So we're already in the arcane sanctum, and
Yep.
they will, make usage of tools and raw materials if you are offering them.
Okay. Well, I mean, we offered to help repair them, so if they want to do it themselves, that's fine. It's just they have to tell us, hey, you can't use these parts, or yes, you can now use these parts when we can use them. Because Aygir's got a lot of skill. He just needs their permission to work on them
Right. Well,
and not. Yeah.
I mean, we've been putting materials here at various points. He might have enough that he can just fabricate a new leg. It might not be exactly the same, but it'll be his closest possible approximation, so that he
You
doesn't
got your
have to
C3P.
reuse any parts.
You can make a bare bones C3PO leg, yeah.
Of course, we are able to affect our own repairs and other modifications. If you
Already
would,
now.
if you are of a mind to aid us, Artificer, we will accept you. We would petition you for some time that we might grieve and ceremonialize our fallen.
I tell them, step this way then, and I lead them to the room here that's a tomb for D'Amico and Elwyn, and show the little stone monument that I've built. And I say, this is how we do it. Are yours similar? To be truth, I did not know if your kind got dead or so much as broken. You cannot fix them, those
This
ones.
will certainly suffice. Yes, these cairns will do well for our fallen. And you have this small room in one of the corners of your arcane sanctum, where you do have some stones and cairn-like structures that I don't think they hold any actual bodies, but they hold like personal effects or little,
right, because there was
little
nothing really
trinkets
left
and relics.
to bury.
And so the Dross guard says if they could make usage of this corner, they will, be performing their sort of burial rites, is how it strikes you.
Just don't disturb the stones that are already here, and let me know if I need to leave the room.
We will not violate the tombs of others who have been interred.
Who would ever do something like that?
Who would ever do any grave robbing? Or smash a clay pot? Just complete brutes and bandits. How much time are you all willing to spend with this group? It seems that they're going to need some time, and you are at a situation where there are people that want you all constantly to help with some fortification or for battle planning. I mean, it is constant, nonstop,
We might need
Nokki
to go different
will,
places.
high alert war times.
Nokki will spend as much time as the rest of the party wants to. He's not very familiar with these robotic stuff and helping them much. Like, basically, Nokki is going to help Aygir as much as he can. So, like, if Aygir needs Nokki to, like, hold one of the robots steady or, like, help pick it up or, like, move it somewhere, like, he's there to help. But he's basically just, like, doing what Aygir tells him because he doesn't know anything else what he's supposed to do to help. Like, he wants to help. He's, like, constantly like, oh, I want to help, right? Like, but he doesn't know what to do, right?
Why don't you
Basically
just
having a free assistant, Aygir.
why don't we each individually say what we want to do with our time? So I feel like Walykos wants to head back into the city, talk to the Duke, talk to see what's going to happen with Adrian. Yeah. So he's got some things on his mind that he wants to kind of finish because we may be leaving the city real soon. So that's what Walykos has on his mind. He'll be back, but he thinks give them time to do what they want to do, and then come back in like half a day to a day before we're about to leave and get the information. Yeah. Because the information shouldn't take very long for them to tell us, if they intend to tell us.
Aygir? Vapor?
That was my invitation to you guys to talk.
You're right. So Aygir has kind of two things. I think for right now, though, the immediate one just is, to help the Dross guards build a new leg for that other one, and then do whatever else is required to, get them to the point where they can walk. But then also he had, I guess there's some questions for Corgain and Mikkel, not Maxwell, Mikkel. Yeah, Corgain and Mikkel. Kind of needs to meet with him and talk a little bit about where the gem in the pommel of his sword came from, and what the deal is with him experiencing some weird psychic resonance from it, and why. And how that has to do with another dragon.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I guess after Nokki like kind of helps Aygir out with the robots, I don't know if Walykos would be okay with it, but Nokki actually might be interested in going with Walykos. He's still kind of new to the Vanguard, and he's new to the city, so like if Walykos is going to like do things in the city, he'd be interested in joining him just to kind of like see the things and like experience like what the Vanguard is actually like doing with these people and like the higher ups and stuff like that. Obviously Walykos might just say no, which is fine, but he sort of would go up to Walykos and be like, Walykos, like I'm new around here, and I'd love to learn more about your city and what you all do here, if possible, because I don't think Nokki knows exactly what happened to the other Vanguard member, so he would say, like, I'd also like to learn more about what happened to the fourth Vanguard member that I've heard about.
Yeah, Walykos kind of was looking to go investigate Adriel's fate, alone, but if Nokki is, asking to come along, he doesn't really know what to do with Nokki right now, because he's not going to be too much help here. Yeah, you can come along. That's fine. Vapor,
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Vapor, what are your
What's
inclinations at the current moment?
Vapor has a guard he needs to find to get
Okay.
answers from. In fact, he's actually
well.
going to let Aygir know. He's going to get answers about the death of the Furbog.
All right, so we'll do these one at a time. And let's see which one seems like it would be first. It'd probably be Aygir. And I think to me it sounds like Nokki is staying with Aygir.
No. I was sorry. I kind of changed what I was saying because I just
Well,
thought
you
about it. I was gonna
were
go-
asking Walykos what about this Adriel, and Walykos seemed there'll be a different time for that.
Is that? Oh, I didn't get that. Oh, I
Is
thought
that-
Walykos
is
said
that
that
what
he would
basically
bring
how-
Nokki along.
how you're approaching it, Walykos?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna just talk about Adriel. Walykos is fine with you coming with him into the city, but he's probably gonna find an excuse to be like, "Hey, could you go do this thing? I need to talk to the Duke," and then
Gotcha.
Go talk
Okay.
To the...
In that
Yeah.
case, I might. I guess Nokki might just go with Aygir then. Kind of
Yeah.
like go along with that. But that'll be better then.
Yeah. Okay, that works for me too.
Yep, that's what seems to make the most sense, I believe. So we'll start with that. The two of you, Aygir and Nokki, are, back a bit as the Dross guards are mourning their fallen. So you all defeated, it was 4 or 5 of those Dross guards, and they are here. I guess I've not switched over the share for you guys. There we go. And you all are here in this chamber that you all have made into a tomb of sorts in the arcane sanctum. They have laid on their backs the fallen ones, and they are chanting. Nokki, you speak giant and Aygir does not. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Nokki, there are bits of these chants that have a vague familiarity to you. It's almost like a culture that is a distant cousin of your own half-giant Goliath culture. There's some common root. There's some cognate in there to it, even though it's not completely your own. And you can tell they are honoring them for their lives, for their work, for their prowess, their strength, their combat abilities. They kind of go through these litanies. It's a shared ceremony, but there is a part where they mention the specific ones that were defeated. This goes on, there's several rounds of this. It goes on for a time. Then they go about dismantling them. And they do so in a ritualistic fashion. And there are certain accompanying gestures, and they will only face in certain ways. And it seems like there's just this one designated person who's like the leader of this whole ceremony. And so you all are actually going to be here for a while. If that's what you're in for, if that's what you want, you can be in for a while, because they like piece by piece disassemble the plating and they put them into piles. It's arranged very methodically and systematically. And they start with the feet and they go all the way up to the head for one by one of them. And so they've got piles of like parts, of the same parts. They have another pile where they put all the just completely broken, rusted, unusable bits. This plays out across, this really takes hours.
Like those people who build a Lego kit by sorting out the red bricks and the yellow bricks and the connecting pieces and the minifig heads. And... Interesting.
Truly, the metal parts are plating and some, reinforcement parts and joint parts, but the mass of the core is not metal. It's something that seems... It reminds you of things you've seen in the Tangle, of these, strands of some kind of fungi. And they take out these innards, and they this is what they inter. The parts that actually get interred within these stony cairn stacks are apparently organic, woven, knotted strands of some kind of fungus tendrils is what it looks like to you. That part gets interred. And this whole process takes hours. And then they have a concluding chant. And they're going to make usage of these parts then. And they go about it in a ceremonious way. This is kind of beyond the scope of just one scene, but this gives you an idea of what they're doing and how they're preparing themselves. But they're going to be, going like, I, now relinquish this, destroyed foot, and I am taking unto myself the foot of Hanshamin, who was, known for this. And, for minor pieces, they don't do that. But when they're, like, putting on someone's helmet or someone's, like, leg exoskeleton, essentially is what it is. They have ceremonial methods that they go about it. So you all can stay here if you want, and they will even ask or make usage of the aid that you've offered to them.
Well,
it takes time. You all have to take breaks and eat and get something to drink. And
does this are they the one that's missing a leg? Are they able to replace that from this, or is it that I've learned now that the leg is not so easily replaceable because it needs that organic woven stuff?
Yeah, he's going to need something special for that leg, essentially like a prosthetic thing. So he'll probably forever be hobbly and not a very quick walker. So if you want to spend time on it and I might be able to make you something that's good, you can, but time is precious at this moment.
Right. After having silently nodded along, understanding that actually there are some times where opening your mouth truly is inappropriate, but still kind of wordlessly with his face at making expressions as if to say, oh, so that's how they work, or oh, so that's what's in there, or oh, I see what they do now. This is when they reuse parts. Aygir is going to eventually then say, yes, I think I can make that work. And leads Nokki over to the workshop and does a quick charcoal pen sketch on a section of wall and says, here, take these, handing him about like 19 different pieces of scrap metal and a little hammer to help bend them, and says, make these look like those. Like that. Exactly like that. You see that? Yes, that. All of them.
I will try my best.
And then he's gonna go... Doesn't know where to find Corgane Mikkel, so he's gonna go to somewhere private in here and pull out his sword and look at the pommel of it at the gem there. Once he's sure he's at least in somewhere quiet, and is going to look into it and say, I know not who gave you to me exactly, though I've heard the name Tamrak Tharks, and I hope I'm saying that right should I meet you one day. Can you communicate to me through this? I think I've had a dream of you, but I know not for sure. I've asked Kogan if you don't give me a sign, but will you give me a sign? And then he stares at it very intently for an uncomfortable amount of time. Does anything happen?
There is something, but it does not manifest. No voice speaks in your mind. No image or apparition appears in the air before you. Just a faint keening, as though a hum or high-pitched vibration there at the edges of your perception. Clearly, some being, draconic being, with psionic abilities possessed this, dwelt near this. There's some imprint.
I've heard that sound before. I've not had that sound though since I was a child. Back living there in the rock piles, I called it. It's like I was sleeping on top of this for years. Is that where that comes
Perhaps
from?
Corgane will have more that he can illuminate regarding this subject, and we'll get to that in a bit.
That's why he walks back and passes by Nokki again, sees how many he's done, and says, no, not like that, exactly like it. But we'll do that later.
It does look like that. It looks exactly like what you said. It probably doesn't when I show it to you.
I need to speak to our friend Corgane. Have you met him before?
Has Nokki met Corgane? I don't think Nokki's met Corgane yet.
You would have met him at the Battle of Holmes Gate.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's right.
I mean, it would have been like
Corgane.
to the point and hurried, but you.
Oh yes,
you have made
I
his
remember
acquaintance.
Corgane. It's been a while.
I'm going to find him soon. Do you need to speak to him as well, or can you just keep an eye on this lot?
I'd love to learn more about him, if you don't mind me tagging along. These robot things I don't have much in common with.
I think as long as they're down here, they're not going to get any smart ideas. They're barely able to walk as it is.
Yeah, I'll like kind of nod my head and say yes. If they do try anything, well, we can just destroy them.
So, to be clear, though, Walykos and Vapor have both left the Arcane
Yes,
Sanctum, right?
they left hours ago.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so we'll get back to you two as you're doing something that's over a long stretch of time.
Yeah.
Vapor,
So we'll wait for them to get back and go out in shifts.
Sure enough. Vapor, you have a topic that has been nagging at you for some time now. And you are intent on tracking down a certain guardsman. Is that what I understand?
Yep. A guardsman by the name... Is it? Wayne Cumberborg.
Okay. Let's see. I seem to recall something about him. I have quite a notion.
He had something to do with the death of the Furbog.
Give me the name
Young
again.
Furbog.
Lane?
Wayne Cumberbrick.
Wayne
Or I'll
Cumberbrick?
post- Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so familiar. I know some details. I'm reaching back into my memory because this has been many months now. I know some details, but why am I not finding? Let me check one last document. Ha, got it. Okay, cool. This has been a while back now. A guardsman at the port gate killed a young Firbolg man. The word that you heard is that this guardsman had been demanding outrageously high entrance tolls from the Firbolgs coming from their village in the Tangle. And one of these times, there at the gate, there was a dispute. A fight broke out, apparently, and in the fight, this guardsman beat the young Firbolg so badly that he was rendered unconscious, and by the time they got back to the village, he was dead.
Yeah, so Vapor wants to figure out, was this guard punished? And if not, he's going to find out why.
You spend a couple hours asking around, and Magus, Vapor, you are attended to pretty respectfully by those who you ask. Now, the city is in a state of it's a hectic state, you would say.
State of
People
emergency would
are
be the best way to describe
many
it.
people are still fleeing the city. Barricades are being constructed. Everywhere you go, you will hear shouts of orders from soldiers or even just basic street guardsmen attempting to ready for an imminent attack that could come really at any time. And the individuals that you speak to, they are respectful of your station, though always hurried. You're always catching them in the middle of their preparations or trying to get orders to somebody or whatever other state of busyness that they're in. But you are directed to Havenport, and you go and you just go talk to him, and you go and talk to him, and he's like, I think I saw him over there, and then you go over there, and eventually you find him, and this guardsman is at Havensport, this Wayne Cumberbrick. He is one of the ugliest elves you've ever seen. It just looks like he fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. His face just has a smashed look to it. He stinks, like you smell like body odor coming off of him from several paces away. And he is with a team of other soldiers that are working on a barricade at the port. They're at where one of the main piers meets the actual wharf quay, and they're just hauling bricks and laying bricks and mortar at the moment. And you approach him just after he's dropped off one load and is like wiping his brow and get ready to go back for another. Huh? What are you looking at?
Specifically looking for you. I believe you're known as Wayne Cumberbrick.
That's me. What do you want?
I have questions, and I believe you have the answers I seek.
I'm very busy. Can we have a chat at a different time?
No, you can stop now and talk.
He looks at you, and his eyes have a bit of a nervous twitch to them. Look, I'm to help with this barricade and to defend Havensport. We're under threat of attack from giants. You would know better than anyone else.
I know, but this is a matter that you've had a hand in, and I want answers to questions that come from it.
Yes. He has an awkward look. Maybe even,
Oh,
pat some more of the sweat on his brow.
a while back, a furbog died by your hands.
Yes.
I want to know
That
why.
was a shit day. One of the worst I've ever had.
Tell me what happened.
Well, there was a group of those Tangle dwellers that were wanting to enter by way of the port gate. I was working it with a few of the others. They didn't want to pay the toll. A fight broke out, and one of those little bastards threw a caustic pod at me. He opens part of his coif up, and you see his skin has these red scars that are not fully healed. Luckily, I dodged it. The thing nearly hit me square in the face. I just got spattered on the side. I swung my mace, hit him upside the skull, and knocked him out.
Who threw the first punch?
Punch? Punch? I don't know. It wasn't me. We were
So
just
another
trying
guard
to.
threw it
We were
first,
just
or
trying
did
to
the
get them
furbog
under
throw it?
control. They're an unruly lot. There's a reason why they live out there, and they're not proper city dwellers. They're wild.
They're not unruly. They also don't understand the concept of our money.
Well, I think they have some concept. They seem to have a larger amount of it in recent months.
They might have a basic concept of it, but they don't use it as we do. But you still didn't answer my question. Did they start the fight, or did the guards start the fight?
I don't rightly know. It was a mess.
Which guard was in charge at the gate at the time?
Well, it was me and 3 others, and let's see, it was he gives you 3 other names. He seems to be vague, as if he doesn't remember exactly.
Do you remember who was the highest ranking of you four?
There was Lansing. Lansing was commanding that day. Yes.
All right. Now, the rumors that you are charging a higher amount for fees, is there any truth to that?
Look, these are Fearbolgs we're talking about. They don't exactly...
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're elves, dwarves, or humans or furbolgs. It should
Well,
not
it
matter.
certainly does. There's a big difference between an elf with a proper manifest coming in through here. Well, these Tangle dwellers, we make do with them going off of percentages. Naturally, I knew they had a larger amount of coinage on them, so the percentage would thus garner a higher toll. They seem to not understand that concept.
All the way up until that point, did they have to pay the same amount?
I suppose we'd been a bit too lax and merciful with them, too flexible for all this time. And we had just been giving them a standard toll, which it just made things less of a chore, less of a headache.
So they were paying a standard toll, and then you guys
They were mad
decided to
because we
change it.
weren't giving them such the same generosity when clearly they were in possession of larger amounts of wealth.
Vapor kind of lets this chuckle go as he kind of sees what might be happening.
So the way he seems to explain it is the Firbolgs just get charged based on a percentage of the commodities they're bringing into the city, but the Firbolgs, according to him, make it a complicated and slow process, and they don't seem to understand the arithmetic of it all, the way it gets calculated. So the guards were just giving them like this standardized deal up until they figured out that they had gold. And then they were like, well, actually, the rules are going to apply formally now, and you owe us
Yeah.
X
So
amount, which is much higher than what you're
they
used to
had
paying.
for a time. Didn't have.
According to
just
Wayne
paying-
Cumberbrick.
Yeah, we were doing this one thing, and then suddenly the rules applied, so they didn't understand it. Who made the call to start applying the rules differently?
Look, there was me. Lansing was commanding. There's 2 or 3 others. I don't quite remember. It was a mess of a day. One of the worst. Almost as bad as what's happening here. And he gestures to all the commotion here at the wharf. It was a joint decision. We all decided it would be for the best.
Can I roll an insight check to see how honest he's been with Vapor?
Sure.
Okay, that's actually pretty high. Where's my sheet? That is a 21.
Okay, that's a good insight check. The read you get off of him is that he seems quite nervous with you here, because he knows your reputation. You know, he knows that you are someone who wields storm powers and other devastating sorceries. So he seems to certainly be putting things in a favorable light for himself and his allies. He doesn't seem to be lying to you, but certainly
But
putting
he's
things
trying
into
to
a
spin it
favorable
a
light.
bit to make it look good. Okay.
And to maybe downplay any issues that he and the other fellow guards might have had. But you don't get the sense of this guy is just completely, blowing smoke.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that sense as well, but I kind of want to see like how much of this was complete truth and how much of this is
Right.
him
It
lying.
seems like the guards were, at the end of the day, able to justify what they were trying to charge the Firbolgs. Whether that's actually fair would be a whole completely different question.
Yeah, that's.
But there does seem to be actual. I almost want to say legislature, official. There is an official basis for what they were trying to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, probably a little bit unfair. Maybe even a bit of corruption in there. I mean, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
But in terms of this scuffle that broke out, and him just striking in defense after a Firbolg slung a caustic pod that nearly alchemist acid him in the face. He doesn't seem to be making that up. You don't get the sense there was no.
Yeah, the scars definitely are helping his side of it, and him saying
You've
he
seen acid burns
mushed out.
before.
Yeah.
Those are acid burns.
Yeah. So I think Vapor's next step is to find the guardian who is in charge, but we can do that after Walykos is seen. Because he would have to go hunting for that guy now.
All right, so we'll let you make some decisions on that, but it sounds like for now that's the extent of your questioning of this guard.
Yeah, of that, because it sounds like he needs to go up to the next rank, figure out who gave what happened, because it sounds like this guard's not giving him a complete picture, so he's going to maybe go up to the next level.
Yeah, he's just standard city guard. He said the commander that day was Lansing's the last name. Breck Lansing is the name that you were given. So, all right, so you conclude with that. He's a bit shifty, a bit of a bastard, but there's more to another side of the coin now that you've seen, and there does seem to be some justification to it.
Yeah, so he's going to go find Breck Lansing and we'll let Walykos do his scene so we can keep moving.
All right, and you move along, and Wayne lets out a great sigh of relief that you did not call down a stroke of lightning to rock him right out of his suit of armor there where he stood.
Vapor has a short fuse, but he knows when and when not to let that fuse go completely.
Okay.
Somewhat.
Walykos, you have made your way to Long Castle to speak with the Duke or whatever other officials.
Let's aim a little lower than the Duke. I think the Duke's got his hands full at this very moment. Let's actually... trying to think who wouldn't be busy, but everyone's going to be busy.
Yes, so it's all in a flurry at Long Keep.
Yeah. Let's go to the bottom of the person who might know, the captain of the guard.
Crane.
Check my notes.
No, that's the Seneschal.
You're thinking the Seneschal.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
We're
of
talking
Source's
about,
Flay.
Source's Flay. There we go.
Yep. I think he might, of all the people, be able to spare a moment for me, even though I know he's going to be busy. The Seneschal's going to be more busy. Like, there's just going to be everyone's busy. But I'm going to try to grab Source's Flay as a minute of his time.
You go, and there, just upon arriving, there's like 100 different questions that people have for you, and the Source's Flay was looking for you, and the Seneschal was looking for you, and the Duke wants to speak with the Vanguard, and you're bombarded by requests.
I'll deal with Source's Flay first, and then I'll get to the others.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Source's actually comes. You have to wait a little bit, but he's coming back, and like he's going to be eating. And, it's just like having this quick meal that's also serving as like a meeting with some others. And they tell you to just go to that. And you get shuffled from one corridor to another. And, Sir Walykos come in, and, people are just like taking whatever food gets shuffled to them on a table. And it's loud. There's voices all over. You're sitting at a table. They, thrust a bowl of some food in front of you, and a cup of water and a cup of wine. And, the whole place is like just 1 degree away from chaos. And Source's Flay comes in. He has a few guardsmen nearby, and they're just arguing with each other about, one thing or another about what needs to be done. And they're just no into their speculations as to when the giants are going to arrive, and when the ships from Terra Morgana arrive, and when the forces from Plethyrus are going to arrive, and, who let so-and-so company in from the lattice through such and such gate and authorize that. I still don't have the actual script sent to me, and it's a bunch of noise. And then he notices you're there, and he like plops down and starts like shuffling, freaking like egg and couscous into his mouth. And Walykos, I've been trying to find you for hours. You and the others.
Esper, hold on. Walykos had to go AFK for a second.
Oh.
Yeah, he just said.
Yeah,
so
it must have been like an emergency or something.
The guy took a bigger bite than that. Maybe just some bread and more than one different kind of wine, and like one complements the other, which complements the food, which but then there's the other.
So
wine
okay,
to
so
go
we'll
with the
briefly,
different food.
or maybe
Sorry,
not.
I'm back.
Okay.
Like I said, I just needed a minute. I had to run to the door.
Okay.
So, yes, I heard everything you said. I have my headset on.
Sure.
So I'm sitting with Source's Flay. He's been looking for me. Yes, well, understandable. We've been trying to get prepared since we got back, and we knew that we'd only have a limited time to do our own things before the Duke, gave us our marching orders, as it were.
The Duke wants to do someone to do a scouting run. It could be Sky Knights, but he thought of the Vanguard first and foremost. You have the ability to cloak yourself with invisibility. You have other higher powers that even a kite sail riding knight wouldn't have. So, can we speak of that? The sooner the better. We need to know what progress the giants are making out there at Holmes Gate.
We can certainly speak of that. I have something I need to speak of as well.
Yes.
And I'll probably need to take this up with, the Duke himself. But has there been any word about Adriel's, trial? I don't even know if he's going to get a trial or whether or not he's going to be held as a prisoner or executed. I need to know what's going to happen with Adriel.
He's being held prisoner presently. His ultimate fate is something we're going to have to decide upon after this whole situation is concluded. And I hope by the blood of all the gods that we are victorious when we repel these damned giants and we can get back to such affairs as the right ordering of Barnacle.
So just to be clear, I just have to be clear that he is not going to be executed until after the war and after the fighting is done.
Presently, he's
whether or
being
not
held. He is only being
Okay.
imprisoned presently. There will be much to discuss as to if further
That was
steps need to
my-
be taken.
That's my concern. I wanted to make sure he was not going to be summarily executed out of hand because they were worried that the giants were going to take the city or something. But just that assures me that he'll be.
He is being held under very tight lock and key, I will have you know.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
I
And you
visited
saw it,
him
he's not,
the other day.
Usually a noble that is imprisoned is, it's a pretty light form of prison, and they have a number of pleasantries and amenities afforded to them. But since this was a matter of high treason, he's just locked up tight like the worst of criminals.
Adriel's a good boy. He doesn't deserve this.
Well, that's okay. I would like to speak on that more, but now is not the time. After the fighting, I'll visit the Duke and make my appeals to him. All right, so scouting mission. I heard that the Seneschal and the Duke wanted to speak to us as well. Is that what that's about?
Yes. That will be primary.
How soon can we, I assume they want it now or yesterday.
Yes. I'm literally just taking a moment to eat this so that I don't faint on the streets. And then I was about to go hunting down the vanguard, but at least I found one of you.
All right.
What of the others?
I know where they are. They're preparing. We're actually engaging right now in information gathering. You ask us to scout, but we've been gathering information on Baal Vondor if he has other plans for the city. So, rest assured that our time is, on our laurels, as it were. So,
What have you turned up? Anything worth noting?
possibly. We have a very interesting lead, and I will have exact information for you in perhaps half a day's time. However, I think we should do the scouting mission now, and then I'll be able to provide you with all the information all at once after the scouting mission is done.
Yes. Let's do that. So
Yeah.
he's, just going to finish the last few bites, and then he's going to go check and see if the Duke's ready, and, he wants you to come along with him.
I do want to also just let him know we're all going to go to the meeting. Well, he's taking me to the meeting, so it's not important. I can wait to say this.
All right, so Sir Walykos, representing the Vanguard, comes into the private, high council room that you've been in a couple times before, where there's the Duke and the Seneschal and a number of the high-ranking knights of Barnacle, the Sky Knights, and Pendrake Stone's there, and the Bracken Bluffs and the Haven Words, and what's his name?
Mantivale or
Esmeraldo. Yep, Esmeraldo, the jester who
I do remember
walks,
Esmeralda
hopping from foot to foot, stepping only on green tiles, lest some awful doom befall him should he land on any other color.
I
And
remember him. Yeah.
you walk into this noisy room, and you can already hear the Duke's voice just barking like it's already rattling at your skull. He's like, "Will you tell those damn bastards that they can sleep when they're dead?" And, you know, it's just a noisy meeting room that you get into. And then the Duke sees you all. I see you and Sources Flay and a few other guardsmen come in. "Walykos! Where the hell is the vanguard?"
Standing by. I'm here because they're attending gathering information of critical nature.
"Oh, and what sort of critical information is that?"
Information that may lead us to Baal Vonder's location.
You still have a mind to aid the city in this battle here?
We do, but, Duke, let me rest assured that had it not been for our intervention at Holmes Gate, the Citadel would have fallen and the city would even now be under siege
Yes.
by the Giants. And that was because Baal Vonder almost took down the entire defenses with his plans. We were only at the last moment able to stop him. I believe that he's not done yet. I think that he will strike again if we don't act.
You have a knack for these things, which is why you are dubbed Knight Errant and not one of the castle knights. But I must know, if you can stay here and fight, you will be instrumental in whatever forthcoming battle. Be it that the Giants break through tomorrow, in 3 days, in 2 weeks' time. Maybe they never will. Maybe they'll be too stuck out there in the ruins of Holmes Gate, and the forces of Terra will descend upon them and sink them there in the water. We can only hope, but we cannot depend on that.
I was going to say, you cannot depend on possibility. You need answers, Duke. Let us give you
We
those
are preparing
answers.
for Giants to reach Havensport at any time.
Good. I think that's wise, but let me and the Vanguard go and gather scouting information for you to let you know whether or not the Giants are making any headway. We took down their flying machines. I think a small band of us using kite sails and magic could possibly scout the area and return before they're able to attack us.
Yes. When can you do this? We have kite sails at the ready.
I can leave within the hour. I just need to gather the Vanguard.
Do that then. Make your scouting run. Report back as quickly as you can. I don't care if I'm asleep, if I've passed out in my chair. Wake me up. I want to know.
I'll do that. I just have one last thing. Duke. Your Grace. We need to also turn our eyes after this to Baal Vondor. The Vanguard, I know that you want us to stay and fight to defend the city, but we need to chop the head off Baal Vondor before he can unleash any more plans that he has. To do that, we believe that we may have to leave the city and go west to the Cloud Steps. We know that he has interest over there. He's trying to bring down the Cloud Steps right now. Only way that we can assure that you aren't attacked on two fronts is to take off the head of Baal Vondor and his forces that are assaulting Cloud Steps.
The Cloud Step. But it's so far away.
We'll use all swiftness to get there, as well as return as soon as we can. The scouting will tell us whether or not we have the time to make this journey, and we can tell you. We can provide you all the information on our return. But I just wanted to declare that is our intention, barring the Giants showing up here tomorrow morning.
Is it absolutely necessary that you go to the Cloud Step in order to uncover the location of Belvander's lair?
We believe so. We believe that his lair is as far as that. He has a secret base, and I believe that's where he operates out of.
There are 4 kite sails. They are yours. As far as I'm concerned, they are yours from now and henceforth. This Nokki fellow
Thank you.
seems to be a trustworthy sort despite his lineage.
He was instrumental in saving many of the lives as we were fleeing the Holmes gate. There. We tried our best to get as many elves back here so that we could stand against the giants when our final stand came.
That is proof enough for me. I have no time to spare on second guesses.
All right. We'll return then as soon as we're able with the information that you need.
And, that's that. He wraps that up and goes on to the next person who's, waiting right there to, get the next word in at the first breath they can.
There's a time for politics and flair. This is not that time. We're just here for, let's do this, and I'm gone.
Okay, so the Duke has availed to the Vanguard a kite sail for each of you 4 that you can take and utilize as at your own discretion.
Yeah, we have an arrow skiff, but as lighter than air flight, it's not fast enough.
Not for a scouting mission. Yeah.
Exactly.
Esper, would it be possible for me to take the kite sails from the castle, fly to the crumble with them all? Can I kind of lead the others in a sort of way, using signals and whistles and things because they're trained? I can also speak with animals if that helps. I could actually just tell them, follow my kite sail, and convince them to do it.
You can do whatever you want to do. Okay. Now, if you want to the opinion of one of the trainers up there, maybe that could be insightful for you.
Yeah.
Well, if just you are to go out now, trying to lead the other 3 in tail, I said that should work. I mean, they're certainly trained. They would not have riders upon them, but, I mean, these aren't Argongs we're talking about. They're sharper than that.
Intelligent.
Though if you would cast that spell, it, I think, would provide more of an assurance. At least would get them to understand,
I use
why
my
there's a
speak with
deviation. They're not... It's
Riding.
an unorthodox sort of flight pattern. They're not specifically trained on that, though.
Here. Show me the kite sails, and I will go ahead and use speak with animals.
They are the 4 that your party already flew on previously, and they certainly recognize you. And the one that you had ridden on, looks at you and, and even gives a little head bob of familiarity.
I give it, the horse neck stroke, and whatever else. Give it some food, and I then cast speak with animal. And I tell it, we're going to be flying soon. I need you to lead these others. And I motion to the others and get them to follow you. We are going to be picking up the other riders. And then heading out.
We fly. Group.
Yes. Follow you. Tell them follow you. And I also
and you can speak with the others too, right?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
so
I figured this way, if my spell wears out, it'll communicate that.
Yeah, it did last for an hour or so, right?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay, that's perfect.
Yep.
So you communicate that with all of them, and it seems to make sense to them since you're speaking, kite sail talk. And you get a strange look from one of the stall cleaners. He's just and then another guy's like, he just does that. He knows how to speak their language somehow. And Walykos is over here
click and popping noises. Yeah, exactly.
So the kite sails just they just kind of bob their head and they're like, yeah,
We fly, group. Group is good.
Yep.
Group is good.
And I point to my kite sail and I say, leader.
yeah.
You all follow leader. And then I keep it simple. I get on my kite sail. I unbind all of them. I assume they're like lashed somehow so that they can't fly. And I
Yeah,
say,
you open up the
"Follow."
cages and lead them to the
Yep.
launch platforms and you just go into the air with that great rush of wind and that sensation of almost falling for just half a beat. And they all, go careening through the air, flying in this pretty, actually, graceful formation.
Yep, beautiful. I lead them, probably across the city out to the crumble, and we're gonna land.
Yeah, really, you just go from Long Keep and you like soar over the main spires of the city westward, and then land down in the crumble, and just land
Probably
on
takes
some
a couple
larger
minutes.
rocks
Yeah.
or like an area where it's kind of an open remnant of a street.
Man, this is gonna make travel so much easier having these all the time.
Yep. I mean, they'll need to take rest, of course, but will be much faster than just walking.
Like having a personal helicopter that can land anywhere in the city. You can just zoom, go wherever you want.
Yep. Basically.
Anyways, yeah. So
All right, so I know,
I go
Vapor, you
back.
had spoken of, maybe I should speak to this other commander. Is that something that you would do at a later time and we can convene everybody together here at the kite sails now? You're on mute, Vince.
Also,
Yeah, he would do it. I can do that at a later time. I think he might see while looking around for this guy, maybe up in the air, seeing 4 kite sails going towards the sanctum,
Mm-hmm.
and go, okay, that's weird, and head straight to the sanctum to see what's going on.
And you recognize the kite sails, right? And
Yeah,
Walykos
and
is
that's the other
riding
thing.
on
Is
one,
like,
so...
wait, what's going on? Why does Walykos have 4 kite sails and going
All
back?
right, so the 4 of you convene with the kite sails.
Well, so also,
Corgain
though,
Mikkel will
Aygir
be
was
showing
going
up
to go
as
talk
well
to,
as Arachno.
Oh, Corian is there?
Corgain and Arachno are going to be
Oh,
there as
cool.
well. This is like your meeting before flying out westward. The Dross guards are going to be in a, long-term, probably multiple-day process of repairing themselves. And they've given their word that they're not going to be striking against the folk of Barnacle.
Yep. However, there is another part to their bargain that they need to uphold, telling us what information they have.
So your party plus Corgain and Arachno are there with the I have a number of them. Give me 1 second. Tunnel to the south. It's actually less than I realized. So there are 8 of them. And they are just, in the early steps or early stages of their repairs. I'm sorry. They've...
Bless you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. They've concluded their burial rites, if you want to call it that, and are, just beginning
Setting
their...
it out.
Yeah, just beginning their repairs. So all of you are there, and what do you say to them? What do you ask?
All right. I'm not going to beat around the bush, everyone. The Duke has asked us to go on a scouting mission as soon as possible, like right away. That's why I came with the kite sails. These are our kite sails now. He's gifted them to us. And he wants us to go back to Holmes Gate and do a quick flyby scout to see what's happening. Have the giants cleared the blockage? Is it serious enough that it's holding them? And it looks like it's going to take a long time. Like we need current report on their status.
I don't know why it is us he's chosen for this. He has Sky
Because
Knights.
he does have Sky Knights. However, he believes that we stand a better chance of scouting and returning with the information than ordinary Sky Knights. We have many magics at our disposal that an ordinary Sky Knight would not, in case the Giants have countermeasures that would want to, stop scouts from returning.
I am drawn west by the way things are developing, but I see Corian is here, so I must speak to him about some things.
I just want to state I did tell the Duke of our intention to go west. He seemed hesitant because he wants us here when the battle falls, but he also trusts me as, he has knighted me as an errant knight.
And he
he
provided
knows that-
us with a means to fly.
Correct.
Well,
Which would help us go west more swiftly to the Cloud Steps.
Seems like going to Holmes Gate is the first step in that.
I think it'll actually benefit us, because if we know that the Giants can't make it through Holmes Gate for a time, that information would be crucial to the city to have, and to us, to know how much time we might have if we can get back in time after dealing with Balevonder.
It would let the city know how long they have to prepare.
And to how long their allies. Yeah, for all we know, the allies have shown up and are fighting a battle right now against the forces at Holmes Gate.
Well, it sounds like we're making daylight like a candle. Is that's how they say it around here?
No,
Burning.
that's not how
dawn.
anyone says it.
It's how I say it now. Shall we be in the air?
We are burning candles at both ends, but we must pick one end to focus on.
That's the saying. All right. Well, I think the course is clear. I think we should scout, return, report to the Duke, tell him our clear intention to leave and go west, and then head out. That being said, I do want to speak Corgain. Do you have any information? What have you been up to since you returned to the city?
Well, I have taken some time to inspect the various fortifications that are being erected in the city, many of them in Havensport, and using my talents to lend aid. If the Giants land at Havenport, I do not currently see a possibility for the elves to win that fight, even if Plethyrus arrives. Now, if Termorgana comes into the picture, if their ships can make it across that great stretch, that would give a fighting chance, yes. But no, not at the moment. All of Haven's Isle doesn't have it.
What if...
I think the Vanguard in particular could take down at least one of the Balin and a number of other forces. But there are three, and who knows if more of their allies have arrived by this point, by this hour.
True. I was going to ask, what if we used whatever Balevonder's, he might have more crackle powder prepared. Could something like that, a weapon, turn the tide?
Well, if there was another good stock
Brimstone,
of crackle powder and brine star, that could be devastating if deployed strategically like you all did. I have not come across any sort of evidence that does exist, though.
I don't disagree. I think that there isn't any more, but my thought is, well
last night,
let's just say,
just after sunset, I went to the sea cliffs and I stared out at the sea. And I told myself that I will fight against the giants. I will fight here in Barnacle, even if it is hopeless. I will give to my last dying breath. There have been very, very few things in my life that I have been so convicted to that I would be willing to dedicate it all and to give all. This will be one.
I appreciate that, Corgain. And your aid will make a difference.
I like to think so.
I think that there is a hope to turn the tide, but we need more information. We need a weapon that can be turned like the Brine Star and the Crackle Powder to surprise the giants. I don't know where we're going to get that, but I hope Bill Vondor, in all his preparations, may have something like that we could take and use against the giants.
Arachno speaks up. I have been trying something. I have been studying the controls of the Aquabark. Give me time. I will get it figured out.
Out of character, he said he's studying the controls of what?
The
The
Aquabark.
aeroskiff.
No,
Okay.
no, the Aquabark.
Oh, the
That, okay. That's
Yes.
right.
It would
Yeah.
need a new viewing port. The glass panel. And I don't know quite what to do yet to evacuate the flooding inside. I believe
Magic.
he might have built a system in, but I have not found it out yet. It is all quite cryptic, and Draconic is not a script that I am well versed in.
We'll get Corgain to help. Yeah.
Corgain, would you lend a hand in this? Yes, of course. I will dedicate some time that I otherwise would be aiding the soldiers in their fortification to do that with you. Remind me, Corgain, are you aquatic? I know certain dragons are. No, I am not. No, I much would rather be in a dry but frosty climate. Well,
Here's my.
that does
Is that-
pose a complication, because that thing is sunk down there far below the surface.
There's holding your breath magics that could happen. I trust that Corgain could turn into an elf and swim down with you. Or
Yes,
heck,
I
Corgain, can't you?
could do that, though.
Yeah.
It's slow
Could you
going.
turn-
It's Walykos, it's slow, is all it is.
Yeah.
It's exhausting for us to make these dives.
I don't disagree, but if you are able to get that operational, it sounds like it still functions. You just need to repair at least, the superficial damage. And then the machine itself will work. The arcane ballista that you could utilize could be a turning the tide against any, forces that try to land.
I would love to pilot this vehicle and use it against the giant forces. I think it
Yep.
could be wielded to great effect.
I don't disagree. Focus on that. I think that's abandoned. Obviously, if it's too far gone and you know that you won't have enough time to do it. But right now, for all we know, the giants could be stuck out there for a month or for a couple hours. We need more information. We'll find that out and we'll let you know if you could be on standby for when we get back.
We will be here.
Okay. Well, when we return, come here. I know you have other places to, work and do. So, all right. Let's go ahead and break, I think, unless there's something more. I guess they know about these Dross guard, right? We told Corgain about them.
They've observed as well, right here with you. I don't think I've ever specifically said this, but I do want to just make sure we're all on the same page. Corgain did give you the general whereabouts of Tamrak Larx's lair.
Right.
It's actually it's a coastal lair. It's on the western coast of Haven Isle.
Right.
Also known as the Clouded
We're gonna
Coast.
Try
and
recruit
it's supposedly just a little ways south of the Steam Curtain. So you'll be looking for what he describes as a coastal cave, a sea cave, in an area that has tremendous amounts of storm weathering. So, what is it now? On to the scouting mission?
Well,
Vapor's
so
got
before
a question actually for the two allies. He wants to know how hard would it be to get some brine star, because we do have barrels of crackle powder that we found in the city.
Is there a leftover barrel of crackle powder?
We used the crackle powder at Holmes Gate, the ones that we found there, and then we found some in the city.
The tannery. Esper.
The tannery.
Tanner. That's where we found the couple.
That's true. I guess in my mind you had brought those to Holmes Gate.
No, we didn't.
But
we
no,
used
the
ones
one,
that we
all
found
the ones
Holmes.
there were ones that you found there. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. That is true. Okay. So I probably have it in a note somewhere. There might be 3 barrels from the tannery or something. It wasn't a large number. But I mean, if you have brine star, 3 barrels of crackle powder is devastating. So Vapor puts that question out there, and everyone's looking around each other like, go.
Talk to Connor Spindle. He might have some idea where brine star can be.
or how it can be made.
Yeah.
Yes, because if we can get enough, even just a bit, we have 3 more bombs we can use against the giants, taking out 3 more ships. And perhaps, if we know they're coming, we hit them in mid-transit, drowning more of their troops.
If we sink even 1 more fire galleon, that is big. If we sink 3, that's devastating to them.
I was going to suggest, if I may combine our ideas here a little bit, if we have a submarine, we can deploy the crackle powder below the ships.
Right,
we can actually attach them onto the bottom of the hulls, and then
that's devastating.
Set a sort of a timed release Rhinestar mechanism, something that breaks,
right?
Or just shoot it, from a distance underwater.
Yeah.
And honestly, once that's been done,
or maybe even just turn it into a mine by having it so that when the ship hits it, it sets it off.
Hits it. Yeah, so it's like floating in some sort of way. Yeah.
But that's more detectable. So anyway. Something like that.
Either way, yeah. The idea of attacking them where they don't even realize they're under attack yet. I like that.
Right.
And the submarine provides that opportunity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I was thinking is, even without the submarine, if we can get just a bit to use the other 3 that we have from the city, that's at least 3 more fire galleys out, or maybe if we have to, drop them on Homesgate to do more damage at Homesgate to buy more time.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I like the idea of
but that is all.
more,
but the Homesgate attack one would need to become after the scouting mission.
I was going to say the scouting mission comes first.
But Vapor's trying to get at least the crackle powder search going, because if we
the crackle powder the play should have that. Yeah. You mean the Brimstone?
Brimstone, yeah, the Brimstone. We need to at least get that going, so that way, we have it on hand for whatever we use it for.
Here's what I propose. Let Corgain and Arachno look into that. Corgain,
Right.
can you visit Connor Spindle for us while we're away?
Yes, certainly. I'll inquire there
Okay.
about this Brian Star.
And if he doesn't have or if he's unsure or doesn't have a great answer, another one who you could seek out is Duncan Mantevale. He
Duncan might also be someone worth consulting in this, yeah.
Exactly.
I should regret missing a meeting of the minds between you and Connor Spindle, but yeah, yes. He should know if anybody knows a thing or two about Brian Star. He's the one who told us what it is. And
Wait, have you ever met Connor Spindle? You both have been alive for a really long time. I wouldn't be surprised if you crossed paths in his youth or, 100 years ago,
Yes.
anytime during that.
Yes, I know Connor Spindle.
Okay. Like
I will
way
pay
back,
him a visit.
know him?
I will pay him a
Okay.
visit soon.
Excellent. All right, that's taken care of, guys. Is there anything else that we should do? I think we should talk to the Dross guard and make it clear to them that we don't need the information now. They still have stuff that they're doing. But when we return, half a day, 1 day, we do need them to uphold their end of things. And that gives them time to mentally sort out what they have going on right now. So I think we can do
The
that.
Dross
Esper.
guard don't have a big response. That's just so be it.
All right. We'll return in a day or so.
All right, off you all fly, sail, even on your kite sails, coursing through the winds in these waving, snaking motions with their great fanned out hind leg sails, these membranes that trace all the way down their long tails. And they keep their four claws tucked in tight, close to their almost drake-like heads. Colorful markings upon their scales, frilled crests, and almost beak-like snouts. And they have these saddle harnesses that are specially made just for this type of beast. And off you go, flying toward Holmes Gate. Is there a specific strategy or approach to what you're doing this? To how you're doing this, or is it just
Well,
we're just gonna
staying
fly by
far
really
enough
fast
away
and
for one thing.
whatever giants see us, whatever, we're just gonna be up high and flying fast so they can just
No.
suck an egg.
I
I want to
I've
stay,
got an
stay
idea.
far away and make sure we finesse it a little bit at least.
Well, hang on a second. I have an idea. Give me a second. First things first, Esper. When we get within, we know that we're, an hour, 30 minutes off. Probably 30 minutes. I'm gonna put a telepathic bond up on this. So we get our telepathic bond going. So we can all communicate silently. That's important.
How long does the telepathic bond last?
1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
No concentration.
So, yeah, it going fast in these kite sails, it just takes probably hour and a half or so to get to Holmes Gate. So you wait till you get some good distance covered so that way you can have your telepathy
We're like 10 minutes away.
functional.
Yeah.
While you're at Holmes Gate.
Yep. And we don't need it for the whole hour, but it'll be very important if and when things go sideways. My second thought is thus, guys. I can actually conjure animals, which last for up to 1 hour. I could conjure a bunch of native birds or something to the region, something that wouldn't be too suspicious.
So what are birds?
Esper, give me the name of some animal that would fly and not be too suspicious in this region. If you want a nature
Kite
check, I'm
sails?
happy to make a nature check. Just regular kite sails?
Yeah, there were wild kite sails. We got attacked by some.
You guys were
remember?
like attacked or almost attacked by wild kite sails.
Okay, sure.
And they definitely do not make a annoying screeching sound when they attack you.
Good. That's important to know.
The same
Yes.
annoying screech.
What is the
over.
CR of a kite sail, like a wild kite sail, Esper?
You want to know like how many you could summon?
Yes, that's what I need to know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could summon like lesser, smaller ones and get the 8 of them if you would like that.
Yeah,
Okay,
would they
I
have
think
to
that's-
comparable to a giant owl?
Yeah, I think that's
The
probably
kite
the way
sails that you all are flying on are CR2, large
Yes.
size,
They're the
well-fed,
great one. Yeah.
domesticated, trained battle mounts. But you could get some like CR1 quarter, just scrawny wild kite sail type things.
Okay. Well, my thought is that I could send the kite sails. I can recast Speak with Animal using a spell slot, and basically tell them, hey, I need you to go. Well, here's the question though. They might not know what to look for. Yeah. Okay. So there is a flaw to the animal plan.
Well, but though.
Source's Flay had speculated that you all would cloak yourself with invisibility. Now, he might have just made up that own presumption in his own head.
If you guys have invisibility, please let me know. Do you have invisibility, Vapor? Yeah,
If I stand
Okay.
extremely
Yeah, that was
still,
just
then
that
no
was
one
just
can
Source's
see me.
Flay wishful thinking in his own head.
So
Of
what you
course.
can do though is you can still summon a bunch of kite sails, and we can just pose as a flock.
Well, we could do that.
It's not
Um,
perfect like invisibility would be, but you know.
yeah. So I'm trying to
Do
think.
we
the
have
problem-
spyglasses?
We might have a spyglass, but I don't know.
Because what we could do is do the
Oh, wait,
flock.
No, I've got a familiar. Okay, so Esper, find familiar. I can see through its eyes, I believe. Let's see. Well, it's within 100 feet of me. Now, normally that's the case. However, is there any distance limitation between me and the familiar? Like, it's not going to disappear if I send it really far away.
The familiar can go out to any distance. Just you can only do
Yeah.
the telepathy and seeing
Let's
through its
see.
eyes within 100 feet. But you could send it
Now,
out
what-
and then it comes back to you later and tells you what it saw.
So here's my thought. Rather than using my conjure animals, I get my familiar, this, animal, and I use another ability I have called Beast Sense. I have, as a ranger, Beast Sense once per long rest. You touch a willing beast for the duration of the spell. You can use your action to see through its eye and hear what it hears. And you can continue to do so until you use your action to return to your senses. While perceiving through the beast's senses, you gain the benefits of any special senses possessed by that creature. Though I'm blinded and deafened to my own surroundings.
Right.
That can last for up to an hour.
And it's to
So
any range?
that gives me what's that?
And it's to any range?
It's a touch spell. I touch the creature,
Mhm.
and then for the duration of the spell, so long as I concentrate.
Right, but it doesn't have to stay with any certain range.
Correct. No, there's no limitation on that.
Not to be
So-
that guy, but for Find Familiar, don't you need to spend like an hour burning incense in a
I-
brass brazier or something?
That's when you
No, but-
initially
You already
call
do
the
that.
familiar. If
I-
it ever
I
gets
actually-
killed or you want to replace it, then you have to do that again.
Correct. And I have never lost my familiar. It's always kind of been with
Sure.
me, even though I haven't utilized it in combat to not slow things down.
Sure.
Okay,
Makes
so
sense.
do you like that idea? To put the beast sense on your white raven familiar and have it fly from some distance?
Yeah, let's do this. Can we approach, you know how there's like the long length of rock? Can we find a place, an outcropping of rock to hide? And then we can send it along the rock to, the
Yeah,
fire.
you're talking about like the obsidian
exactly.
barrier.
Yep. Just something along the obsidian barrier where we can use it for cover, and still be close enough that it won't take the owl forever to fly from us to the Holmes gate.
Okay. All right. So, is everybody on board for that plan?
Can I also include the owl in my telepathic bond so I can give it orders?
I mean, as long as this spell doesn't limit how many.
It does, but it's up to 8 willing creatures of
There you
your
go.
choice.
That's
So.
that's plenty. Okay. So
All right.
you cast your telepathic bond.
Yep.
And you communicate all these strategies telepathically with allies, and you all land up on some just natural perches and ledges and such in the obsidian barrier, which are essentially just very steep, tall mountains is what those amount to. And you send out your familiar, which,
I guess it would be like a white raven.
yeah,
kind of.
appearance-wise, it's like this kind of big white raven creature. Mechanics-wise, behind the scenes, we use the same mechanics as an owl.
I appreciate it.
And then you call upon your beast sense and, lay your hand upon, the eyes or the head. And when you shut your own eyes, or like maybe gaze out with this like distant look, and you can see from the point of view of the eyes of your raven.
And telepathically, I can just ask it, fly to Holmes Gate, and see what you can see. And I'll give it more direct instructions. And I can still talk to you all while I'm, doing this. I just can't hear or see anything around me. So I need you. Basically, I won't hear you if you talk
Right.
to me.
If you need,
Just so you know.
Walykos to come to his senses, vigorously shake
Give me
him.
a shake. Exactly.
Telepathic bond, does that have any
Oh yeah,
distance
that
limitation?
does. I could just talk to you all, and you can talk to me telepathically. So, we have communications handled. Man, that's such a cool combo.
Well,
Yeah,
so
the
wait,
telepathic
they're not
bond
both,
is over any distance as long as you're on the same plane.
Correct.
and they're not both
Nice.
concentration, right?
Come again?
Telepathic bond is not concentration.
Nice.
The familiar
Yeah,
obviously is
we
not
we have it for an
concentration.
hour, but the
And
familiar
beast sense
stuff
is a
is
ranger
concentration.
feature.
The beast sense is concentration, but it
Oh,
is a
okay.
ranger feature.
Okay,
Yep.
so it is but that's the only thing you're concentrating on.
Correct. Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, that's really
So
nice.
you are seeing from the point of view of the white raven familiar, and you can speak with it telepathically, and it goes flying, fluttering, and flapping from probably a high altitude. Like it comes
Yeah,
out of
it's got pretty good
the obsidian
perception.
barrier mountains, and just stays up at that high mountainous altitude. And you fly until you get within sighting distance of Holmes Gate.
Just so you know, owls have keen hearing and sight, so they get advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing or sight.
Excellent. Well, let me know whenever you want to do that. The first thing
Of course.
that you see is that the giants have not broken through Holmes Gate, have not broken through the wrecked channel, like the what do they call it? They call it like the gullet of stone, or the gullet or something that you all collapsed with the crackle powder. They have not broken through that, and there does not seem to be an increase in their numbers. If it is, it's such a slight amount that it's not really noticeable. So, in many regards, things look how they were left when you left the battle. The last time you were there, just a couple days ago.
Yep.
Now there is activity taking place there.
That's when I need the deets on.
Yes, you see a number of giants, varieties of giants, like some true giants and some giant kin, and dwarves patrolling the battlements and looking from the battlements. There are some giants that are attempting to hoist up sections that fell and collapsed in from up there, hoist them up and like swing them out and chuck them into the water or pick them up. The largest or maybe strongest, certainly most spectacular form of activity that you're seeing, though, is there is a fire galleon that oh, by the way, the sunken one, it looks to have been like drug out from the jam. So they've gotten that thing out of the jam.
It.
Yeah.
That probably took them a couple days.
There's a different fire galleon, like a fully functioning one, and like its nose is right in there in the collapse. And it's using those. Yeah, it's using. Well, it seems to be using those like those intense heat engines, because you just see steam, just like clouds of steam coming off of it, and you can see like parts of the water are boiling all around that fire galleon,
trying to drill their way through.
Or like melt through sections of stone and like cast off the slag. You can tell they've cast off molten. I don't know if slag's the right word, but molten bits have been cast off to the side. So it's a big mess, and you can't even see the work being done because there's so much steam rising off of it. It's like the caldera of a volcano, that sort of constant steaminess.
Have they made any attempts to bypass it? We had docks on this side of the thing, and the giants could walk across, to the docks. Have they made any attempts to, get any sort of mobility on this side of the wall?
Oh, they certainly have access to that. There are no ships, though, on this side.
Well, obviously not, but they could build something, or they could carry something over. People try all kinds of things in war. They'll get creative.
So, I mean, it's no surprise they have free reign, full access of all of Holmes Gate, both sides of it. But in terms of their ships, they're still gunked up on the north side of it.
Good. They're stubbornly trying to drill through the tunnel right now, which means that's where all their resources are. Man, I wish we could do more. If we had another, a crackle powder, on that ship, that would certainly be a nasty little surprise.
Well, yeah, but it's going to take them a long time to do this, and then by the time they get through, then maybe we will have additional bombs ready.
We could possibly.
It's going to buy us enough time to source some Brine Star or make it.
I would like to, kind of do a circle around and see. You said that they didn't look like they had too many more reinforcements?
No noticeable reinforcements. Probably,
is there any...
it's like none, or maybe there were some stragglers at the far back that you just never noticed during the battle and they arrived. Nothing that strikes you.
And so also...
How many ships are there?
Oh.
There are...
Let's roll get that.
Because that will tell us if we have more.
5 functioning fire galleons, 1 destroyed one.
Okay, that sounds about
That's
almost
right.
the same.
It is
Yes,
the same.
that is the same. So
It is the same.
there's been no reinforcements whatsoever.
I mean,
But also,
it kind of makes sense. You send all that you have ready to go.
This is the way then also that reinforcements from Terra Morgana are arriving, right?
Mhm.
Correct. But that means that they have to watch their backside because they're currently stuck.
Mhm.
They can't. They would have to retreat out of this little bay, as it were,
Mhm.
to fight. Effectively.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
they could
Terra
climb
Morgana
up
could
into the
just-
mountains, into the obsidian barrier.
But they'd abandon their ships.
They could try to swim. That seems like a terrible idea.
It also
It's,
it means
yeah,
we
they're
have the potential.
they would be in not a great spot. Clearly, they are like on great lookout.
Yeah.
But who
Well-
would notice just a little bird flying up there?
Who indeed? Now, Esper, can I spot any leaders? Anyone who's giving orders? Anyone who might be standing on the prow of a ship, you know, just like looking like he has nothing better to do than, you know, oversee things. I'm
Oh,
looking for the
yes.
bales.
Oh, yes.
Let's be honest. I'm looking for the bales. Esper.
Oh yes, for sure.
Mhm.
Yep. You do see them.
Fantastic.
One is on the deck at the helm of the fire galleon that is currently, let's say, working at getting through the collapse.
Understood. Okay, that's one of them.
He wears full plated armor, a masked helm, and has a pretty hefty looking fire giant sword. There is another one that is atop the battlements, not far from where some of the other giants are trying to extract collapsed sections from there. He as well wears this kind of fire giant heavy armor. He does not have a sword. He has slung across his back a massive cylindrical implement or weapon.
We know what those
A
are.
big,
We've,
a big cannon.
yeah, we've seen depictions of Bale
And he
Andekar having one of those.
Yeah, and he has like this, like one of his pauldrons looks like it's made to shoulder it.
Yeah, he just locks it in. Yeah. Good to know. Okay, so that's 2 bales, yes?
That's 2. There should be a third, but you're not seeing him.
Well, he could be dead.
Could be
he
dead,
could have been
or
on the
could
first ship.
just not be out in the open. Who knows?
Probably not out in the open. It's too much to hope for that, you know, we killed a bale in the last battle.
That would have been so lucky, yeah.
It would have been extremely.
I
But he
doubt
could have
they'd
been that guy in the front ship, like, let me go through the breach. You know, I gotta be the first through.
Yeah,
as soon as he got
coulda-
through,
yeah. Yeah, he's
that's
just
when
like,
we
I
brought
will
down the
lead. I
tower."
will lead the charge like a true general.
Yeah.
something
that's-
tells me these guys are all, Bale Vonder put us up to this. We'll stay in the rear and let our disposable peons go first.
Go my dwarves, fight for me.
I mean, that's what dwarves are for, right? Okay.
Are there any other scouting related bits that are of interest
Yes.
to you?
Let's ask questions. Can we? Okay, so we've got their movements, what they're currently focused on. Have they got any reinforcements? Are all their airships destroyed? Like, I think we took out all their airships. Can you confirm that, Esper?
I'm looking at my notes here. Okay.
Yeah.
There are still 2 aeroskiffs.
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are 2 that didn't
That's
get destroyed.
important.
Yeah. But one fire galleon got destroyed.
I say to Aygir, I don't suppose there's like a self-destruct button in those aeroskiffs that my Raven could just fly in and peck the self-destruct.
Get out of here, bird. No!
No! Yeah, why did we even install that button? Why do we even have that lever? And we put it where a bird could access it. Our one fatal flaw.
No
yeah,
dwarf
no,
or giant could stick their finger in to push that button. You need the special code to open up that latch. No, that
possibly-
bird's slender and long beak is just the right size.
Who could possibly shoot like a laser shot into like the smallest exhaust port on a giant like who would even know it's there, right? Like
They would have to have some
Listen.
kind of magical power helping them.
right, some kind
Yeah.
of magical power that we don't believe in. We don't think that exists, you know, except their
There's so
masters,
many
right?
empirical examples, you know. Anyways,
Any other interests with the
Yes.
scouting?
you guys think of any questions? I'm kind of going over it in my head. I don't want to spend a lot of time like
Okay, but
Is
it sounds like
there
you're just
any-
having the bird fly around,
yeah
do
Is there
some
any
like
way to get
passes,
a
and then
look
come back
inside? Is there a way to
inside the tunnel
get a look? Well, inside
with all
of-
that steam.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll probably kill my bird.
Yeah, see that's the problem. Is it's like we need to see exactly what they're doing.
What's happening? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm willing to risk the bird. It'll suck, you know, but it's.
Yeah, no, I understand it's gonna suck, but I don't know how else we can get eyes.
I think it's better than us dying. You know, if we have to, I can resummon. It's a spirit.
Yeah, I'd much
It's
much
not
rather
actually
send-
dying.
Yeah, I'd much rather
I-
send like a false life bird than me
No,
or so one
Let's
of us.
let's be fair. It is an intelligent being, but it also recognizes that it's not going to die by doing this. It might hurt briefly, and then it goes back to the plane.
It
where-
it
Right.
understands its fate. You know, it knows what its job is. It knows what.
That
it's-
being
it's summoned
said,
for.
if I abuse my familiar too much, it may not answer my summons again. I
Right.
know this for a fact because Esper and we've talked about this sort of thing.
We get
Uh,
sick of
that's
getting the
not
game over
that's
screen
not
with
what the
this rage
spell
quit.
says. That's not how
Yeah.
it works. I'm just kidding.
Say that again, Esper.
I said naturally.
Yeah, naturally. Now that being said, I could make a bond with a different familiar. But if I want the same familiar, which I don't want to
Yeah, you
use
like
White
summon
Raven.
one familiar and you just like torture it, and then like it doesn't come back. You get another familiar and just do it to that one, and it's just like, haha, I'm an evil wizard.
Yeah, and then they all complain to the White Raven, and the White Raven cuts me off from all her divine power. Yeah,
The
that,
White
that
Raven's
sounds like a
hey,
great
like
plan.
you gotta stop doing this, man.
It's messed up. You can't
You
attach
are
bird-
now a ranger that has no supernatural abilities at all.
Abilities.
Like you can swing a sword.
I'm just a
and shoot
really
bow.
bad fighter.
Yeah.
I'm a really bad fighter. Yeah, that'd be terrible.
All right, so
you gotta
the bird
stop
does its
attaching
passes, and then it comes back to you. There wasn't anything
Oh,
else that really
well,
struck out to you as
Esper-
necessary.
bombs. We were just talking about sending it in to check out the tunnel, I think.
So how about this? It's come back to you, and you're here debating. Do I want to do something else with it?
Okay. Sure. Guys,
With her,
we could send with her.
this
Okay.
precious, minor piece of your deity.
White Raven. Okay. Well, in that case, now that Esper's put it in those words, I won't do it. But I'd give her a little pat on the head. Good job. Telepathic bond. She can talk to me if she wants to.
There
She ain't
is
got no time for that.
A great force at that water castle. It worries me
Yeah.
so.
I wish there was more that we could do, but without taking the risk, I think we should just report back. We have information. We know what their plan is. They want to drill and melt their way through the tunnel.
Right, and it's gonna take a
And
while.
It could collapse more with what they're doing. It's up to fate, really.
Hey,
how long? it'll
did
take.
you hear the clickety clack of my D20 when you first arrived there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did, and I knew exactly what was going on too.
Yeah.
So
Mother
let's go
is
back.
with
report.
you, Walykos. Do not lose hope. Do not lose faith.
I have hope. I have faith. If she wants to, control weather and make it really nasty for the giants and slow down their progress, that would be cool too.
About how cool are you thinking? Enough to freeze them?
If the water, well, the problem is they melt. They have the melty ships. However, by cooling down their temperature, wouldn't that slow down how much stone they could melt? Like directly. Yeah.
They would have to burn
I don't-
more
I-
fuel.
I don't know how the magic works. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
see, that's the problem.
You worry too much with your mind, Walykos. Reach
I
out
do.
with your spirit.
All right.
And the white
I'm
raven
going to-
familiar perches on your shoulder.
All right, I'm going to try something. I want to try to pray to the White Raven to pray for a miracle to impede the giants, you know, basically, be it weather, be it, you know, sending a monster to harass them and eat them in the night, you know, something that comes out of the obsidian reef and hunts them and then disappears. Whatever it is, I pray for it. And if you
Walykos,
want
I
me to
would
make
like
any
you
sort of
to
check-
make
Yep.
a wisdom religion check.
I'm willing to spend spell slots and whatever else my magical energy to help
Tell me what you
do
got.
this.
What are you thinking?
I've got third level spell slots. Conjure animal seems to be the most, you know, appropriate if I'm, you know, calling to something and trying to help. So those are my third level slots. Locate object. No. Yeah, I don't have a lot of spells. I'm, you know, not into it. But like, if I want to burn through those to help fuel this, I'm down for it. You said a religion check, yes, using my wisdom.
religion check. Mm-hmm. And if you
I
can
love
think of
wisdom.
a specific spell and what you're doing with it, I'm all
Mhm.
ears.
Honestly, it would have to be some sort of crazy conjure animal, you know, conjuring spirits to harass the giants. Because let's be honest, when you're trying to work and a tiger starts attacking you and then disappears and then comes back every night or something, that kind of sucks. But yeah, so sort of an empowered conjure animal, something real that exists that would want to prey on these interlopers. That's my idea. If that doesn't work, then it doesn't work. I'm going to use my inspiration on this roll.
Ooh, nice.
Thank you. That was so worth it. Wasn't that 20? It was 20 for a second, I'm going to be honest, and then it rolled off it. But it's still very good. I have a dirty 20.
But how can it be dirty when you're praying to such a goddess of celestial grace?
Well, these are questions that I could not possibly answer, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Walykos isn't a philosopher.
Not on YouTube.
A divine
without being-
20, let's call it.
Yes, a divine 20, yes.
Divine 20. You hear the voice of your goddess. Is she making usage of your telepathic bond? Perhaps so. I am with you, my son. Ask, and I will answer your plea.
Avacera, help us slow down the giants. Send unto us a being, creature of yours that will obey and attack the giants without risking its own life. It will harass them, give them no end to their grief and their pain, as they would seek to bring unto us and mine at Barnacle. Something from the sea, something from the air, something from the land, whatever, answer your call. Perhaps another god itself, an ally of yours, be it from the sea or the air.
There is a sensation of presence, a weight to the air even. You have felt this before. It has even made you lift up off the ground or get blown back like a great invisible hand or wind is manifesting here in the material plane. You have maintained your eyes to the dawning horizon despite the darkness that has befallen upon you at many an hour. The dawn always comes again and vanquishes the night. Do not forget this. And there is a rush, and the presence hastens away swiftly through the air. It speeds in a southward direction towards Holmes Gate. Your familiar takes off, flies out in that same direction.
I was actually hoping
you can still see through it. Yeah. Okay. So
1 hour
you, again, are soaring, so to say, right, in the air with this perspective, looking down, and a tremendous phenomena occurs. There is a great blast of wind. It blows away all that smoke and steam for a moment, and then hits the water. You see the water like not a wave so much, but a great force basically penetrates into the water. And the giants, they stop what they're doing and they look around, and what was that hurricane gust that just whipped past through here and smacked into the water?
Divine magic.
They wait for a moment and nothing's happening. And you maybe even wonder, like, what? Is that it? What was that?
Actually, Walykos suspects that there's more, and he's waiting. He has faith that, there's going to be something spectacular.
There are a few gods of this Haven Isle. There is the Cairn Father, Lord of all mercies and consolations. Krelly, the doomful god of the depths, who wears a necklace of halfling heads. The living storm you've even seen with your own eyes, colossal flying jellyfish that dwells among the clouds. Latlang Yat, the massive fungal type goddess who merges sea and sky. There is Lula, a minor goddess of snails and sea slugs and barnacles and starfish, and you've even seen a minor one that goblins worship called Hragatablixa, the great maned eel.
Yes, the eel, I remember that.
Wait, so
there is another god of great legend, and many fear and many worship him, who has been known since the time of giants, since even before the time of giants. The great Risakraba, a giant crab god who supposedly cut off a part of Eoberg Isle with his giant pincer claw, creating the strait that the tether now crosses.
I do recall this, yes.
And there is suddenly a violent effect of the fire galleon being pulled backwards through the water, and the giants begin to shout,
panic,
and they start looking into the water, and you can hear them, right, and you can make out what they're saying, and they're swearing at it. What was that? What is this? And then there's another forceful thrust, and the thing goes backwards again, and even tips a little bit, and like the back end of it starts to plunge a bit. And the giants that are on that galleon, including that Bale, they begin mustering, and someone shouts something about there's something pulling us.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes down below deck.
Yeah.
And there's another like thrust, and it's not long until a battle breaks out on the ship. And you can't make it up, but there's some like colossal beast. You can just see like one of its pincers like going up and like trying to pry off part of the paneling, part of the hull. And the giants are doing what they can to fling and fire attacks down onto it.
But this came out of nowhere, so they're
Just
probably
came up from the waters.
Yeah.
Yep, came up from the depths. And the
crabs are pretty nasty. Like
Yeah.
they're scary, especially when they're huge.
the Bale who is on top of the battlements angles the cannon and fires this shot back down into the water, and there's a huge splashing effect, and you're not quite sure if that hit it or what happened there. And they start firing like siege weapons at this giant crab thing at the back of the ship. From one of the other fire galleons comes up like alongside, and they open some kind of hatch, and this massive monster comes out of it, almost centipede-like looking thing, but with like this pale sky blue chitinous hide, and it's got all these legs, and it comes out and like plunges down into the water to go do battle. This massive battle starts taking place. They're like fighting off this colossal crab.
Wow.
I'll take a little divine intervention. That's
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't, even if it's only enough to damage one vessel, that's another one that's damaged and possibly out of commission.
I feel like the crab will fight until it feels like it's too badly hurt, and then it'll flee. But that's a lot of damage. Like a crab that can, peel this thing and pierce its armor. It's gonna scuttle another ship, I think, at least.
It's gonna at least scuttle one.
And if it eats a couple giants, like they're gonna have to be like looking around at all times if this crab keeps coming back and attacking them.
You see one of the pincers. You see one of the pincers grab an ogre and
squish.
Yeah, just snaps him in half. And he falls into the water.
Can we just have this crab with us constantly, all of them?
Why don't you start worshiping him? I'm sure he'll be happy to have a follower.
We need channel fan art.
Yeah, no, Nokki sees this and
it's
just starts praying immediately, I want this, I want this, I want this, please.
Well, you can't see it. I see it. I'm giving you the radio telepathically.
Yeah,
and now the crab just squeezed the ogre in half.
He's shot calling.
Walykos is commentating the battle, this is happening.
Yeah,
I'm basically being Esper right now.
In the left corner, the Veil calls all dwarves to attack.
Yeah.
The presence of the White Raven returns to you, Walykos.
And I command the White Raven familiar to return.
The familiar comes back. Okay.
As much as I love watching this, I don't want to, take too long. I feel like it's going to do a lot of damage.
The presence of Avasira comes back to you.
Yeah.
I have spoken with Risakraba, who slumbers in these waters, and he is unhappy with the giants being here. he has been roused to ire and
I saw
is
that.
wreaking his wrath upon them.
Do you know how long he will continue to attack them? Will he continue even beyond, today, tomorrow? Will he continue until they're all dead?
I think it's feasible enough that you all watch the battle play out.
Okay,
The
sure.
giant forces eventually do beat the thing back, and it lets go and it retreats.
Yep.
But it,
As it should.
yes, it dealt serious damage to their ship and killed some of their numbers. That
Bale?
chitinous
Was Bale
centipede type thing, like wounded and like missing some legs, like scuttles back into the ship to lick its wounds, so to say. Yeah.
Interesting.
You might have an idea about what that is.
I might, We'll
So
leave
you
it
have
at
scouted, and the goddess awoke another god, and he decided he did not like the giants there, and angrily snapped at them, and his snapping
Thank you.
dealt a blow to them.
Thank you, Artificer, for asking the other god to intervene. I will try to make this act meaningful. What you have done for me, I will do for you again in the future. And I hope that we can make this all count for all the people of Haven Isle. Not just myself, because at the end of the day, I am just one elf.
The giants had their day in this land, and that day has ended. They cannot make the past come into the present, try as they might.
I can hear the
Avasira
roars of the monster.
seems to be like the most hopeful person, and throughout all of this, she seems confident that the giants are going to not claim victory, whereas all the like war strategists and experts are of the opinion that unless Terra Morgana gets here, if the giants can get through, we don't have what it takes to defeat them.
The War
But
Council
let's be
don't know
honest.
that they messed with the Crabbo and got the Stabbo, so...
I was gonna say the War Council can't factor in things they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the gods get involved, all bets are off.
I'm almost tempted to say as we leave, we do a flyby so Vapor can distance a spell just to fuck with them some more.
Are you
Oh.
willing to risk it?
But I don't think we should. As I said, I thought of
No.
it, but it's like
Vapor is welcome to do that on his own. Nokki
Yeah.
will not be going closer.
I believe our best bet is to get back as soon as possible, because we can then begin working on even nastier things. Like, yes, we could do a lot of damage here. Let's be honest. You're gonna like kill maybe like a handful of guys with your lightning strikes. It just won't be. It won't be as effective as if we get the ship going. If we get, Bale Vonder killed.
no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
But my idea was just like, it's just so a little more chaos.
Pew 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 pew.
Yeah.
The problem is then they know that we were here. This way,
Yeah.
they don't know that we know
Right.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Vapor, in his eagerness and his hot troll-bloodedness,
calm
greatly
him
wants to
down.
go in there and rain down on them. But Walykos talks some better sense in him.
The crab is doing everything
You are
that
likely
you
just to
want
get blasted out of the sky in the process, and you'll be letting them know that we're here.
A guy with that cannon, he could probably take you out with one shot. One lucky shot. But
Yeah, it would only take one. Very well. Let's get back to
So-
what we saw.
I'm of a mind to basically look towards wrapping things up with, like, you all
can we report
fly
back?
back to Barnacle, you give your report of all that happened, and it is obviously received with, elation of this new blow and marvel and wonderment of these continual miraculous occurrences that happen with this Avasira goddess. And then you all are going to be like flying out westward
to seek out a sea cave where dwells Tamrak Larks in a location. I'll just briefly show the general whereabouts on the map here.
Can I ask you one thing while you're doing that? We don't need a scene for this, but do the Dross Guard give us any valuable information? I'm of the opinion I don't really care so much if they do or don't. I just want to know, do they keep their word? Because that would be like a 5-minute conversation. We don't need a scene.
Mm-hmm.
We can just focus on getting out to the cloud step next time.
The Dross Guard say that they are not ready to speak to you about this. You get the sense that they are stalling, or maybe won't ever.
Yeah.
One of them, however, who has gotten his hand into good functioning order, and they actually have some pretty good amount of dexterity in their hands when they're in good functioning order. He discreetly palms you a little note, a little scrap.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like my response officially to them, even though, this happens after that, is I'm disappointed. But I will not press you. If you continue to follow our, terms to not intervene, we will let you exist. We'll let you live, and do as you will in this part of the crumble. I cannot guarantee others outside of here will not, choose to intervene or come here. But as far as between us, we have our accord. And as I feel like that's what I'd say. And then
what
as
you
I'm
ask
walking
of
away,
us is of much weight, a burden that we must reconcile and find a path through. Be patient,
now you have the time.
And a time will come.
Now you have the time to do so. And that is my gift to you. And as I'm walking away, that's probably when what you were just saying happens. Like one of them stops Walykos as he's walking.
The main one that you've spoken
it kind
to
of makes sense.
Much has a hand in good repair, and he discreetly, hands off, palms you this little note.
And I just kind of pull it to my chest and keep walking, and I'll read it once we're outside. So tell us what it says.
The writing is in giant, of course, just like a little spiky fingertip dipped in ink, and just a quick note. Baal Vonder is paranoid of the highest order and always keeps healers close at hand.
Okay. Always keeps healers close at hand. So that almost sounds like tactical advice, in a sense. He's going to have...
Do with that as you will.
Yeah. No, that's useful, especially if we go into it thinking like it's just an ordinary fight. But if he has healers, we could do all this damage to him, and then suddenly, boom, he could just reverse it if he has healers that are, pouring their healing into him.
Yeah, you all can do what you will with that.
That being said,
information on that.
There are ways to prevent healing.
I do have counterspell.
Well, counterspell's not a good way to prevent healing. Let's be honest.
But I'm just saying as a possible option.
Preventing a creature from regaining hit points until the start of your next turn. Now that's a better way to stop healing. We might want to look into some spells with that, Vapor, when you level up. I feel like Esper might even have some in his book or something. There might be some way.
There's the chill touch cantrip.
Yeah,
there is always the chill touch.
In a different campaign of
in
mine,
Walykos
the wizard has had that spell pretty much the whole time, and he has reskinned
That's
it
great.
as he calls it ray of something, and instead of like a skeleton hand, it's like a ray that he shoots out.
Mm-hmm.
Ray of weakening or something to that effect. So this is just a quick glance at the region you all are setting your sights on. So it's across Haven Isle. This is the Steam Curtain region, and then this whole coast would be like the clouded coast. The Cloud Steppe being up here, which is a semi-arid land inhabited by... There are goblin folk that dwell there. There are some other humanoid folk in smaller, no big cities, but in smaller settlements. Vapor is from one such. Vapor, who mechanically is a Genasi in this world. You appear as
Human.
You appear as a human, right? You're a human in MIRRORMOURN, but mechanically you've got the Genasi effects due to your
Grandfather.
your bloodline,
Yep.
your lineage, right? All right. So according to Corgain Makel, there is a sea cave that is just a bit south of the Steam Curtain, in which layers this topaz dragon, who apparently hates giants and has no love for orcs. And as it stands right now, orc forces are sacking the Cloud Steppe region and Dodecachelia.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This dragon's older than Corgain?
The impression he gave you is that the dragon is of a same
age,
general life
category
cycle, right? Life phase, yeah.
I wasn't sure if he was older because older means stronger. So if we got him on his side, that would.
He might be a little bit stronger. Because Corgain's a crystal dragon, and they're actually one of the less strong dragons.
Correct.
And then also according to Corgain, Belvander's lair is actually somewhere in this region here.
And I might even be able to... So when I escaped from him, did I escape from this lair? Is that what Corgain's kind of implying? Or
it is.
Did I escape?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the lair that he founded after the giants lost in Eaberg City, a.k.a. Barnacle nowadays.
And the reason I don't know exactly where it is because I was basically fleeing for my life, and Corgain smuggled me out, I think, is kind of what happened.
Oh, yeah. There was great secrecy in admitting you in there, and then he smuggled you out.
Yeah. Well, I am looking forward to repaying Belvander.
I'm
for
sure you
all
are.
His,
so the trajectory looks like
helpfulness.
next session is you guys flying out and then searching for the sea cave, trying to speak with Tamarack Larks and rally him to your side. And then we're also looking towards Vapor, speaking or meeting up with his grandfather.
Yes, I was going to say.
Who's a being with elemental power.
Yeah.
There is a wish that, was put out there. So
we'll see if he will be finally willing to step up to actually help out or be the same bastard that Vapor sees him as.
Well done, everyone.
Each
of you have gained a milestone.
Thank you, Esper.
We'll pause things there. Thanks, everybody who has followed along as well or who has caught this on the post end. We are getting more and more towards the final climax of this campaign, and looking forward to it every time.
Absolutely.
It's going to be bales of fun.
And there will be future campaigns, so don't worry. We'll do more, but...
Future campaigns? What? No, this is the last one ever, right?
Thanks for playing, guys. Always great gaming with you, and we'll do our inspiration vote and all that post-stream here.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Excellent. Thanks again, everyone else who watched, and we'll see you here in 2 weeks' time. Until then, May your adventures be many.